Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and this topic that I'm about to discuss is actually something that I hear a lot. I get a lot of people asking me or telling me that I hate the gamepad, or do you hate the Wii U gamepad, or anything like that, any combination of those things. And I'll have to be 100% honest with you guys. When the Wii U was first launched and when they were first showing off, I was very excited for the Wii U gamepad. I didn't think it would be as bulky as it looked. I thought it would be thinner, and I thought there'd be variations. I thought that they'd release like a smaller one or something like that, but that never came. But when I first held the Wii U gamepad, when I played it at Wii U Experience in Los Angeles, and I played it, and I thought it was decent. I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. It doesn't feel too bad in my hands, and I can't wait to play more games with this controller. As Nintendo started releasing games, I was expecting bigger open world games that take advantage of the dual screen, similar to how the Nintendo 3DS would take advantage of dual screens as far as inventory, maps, things like that. I felt that the launch games, at least from the first party standpoint, were just primers, and that Nintendo was getting us ready for the real meat and potatoes, which was going to be the Xenoblade Chronicles, which was going to be the Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And that, to me, was actually shown very early in the Wii U's life. In January, I think, or so, 2013, Nintendo showed off 2 RPGs. Nintendo said, hey, we're going to have Xenoblade Chronicles X, we're going to have Tokyo Mirage Sessions, or back then it was just Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, and these are going to be games that you're going to be able to play on your Wii U. They didn't give a timetable or date, but to me, that solidified this controller, and that said, okay, this controller is best for me. Well, I think, just my opinion, this controller is best for huge open world RPGs, so you can have that map and that dual screen. They're going to be making some, and these are the only ones that we know about. What if there's more? They probably have more in development. And we had a couple cool titles like the Wonderful 101 and things like that, but that's an action game. And while the gamepad works fine for stuff like the Wonderful 101, holding that big gamepad with one hand and drawing kind of got tiresome after the first playthrough. I still really liked it, but I made sure to play it with the Pro Controller as well, and I think that it has a fantastic implementation of the Wii U gamepad, and I think the Pro Controller works just fine too, but I was still looking for more of an experience like a Xenoblade Chronicles would end up providing really early in the Wii U's life. And as the time went on, I realized that Nintendo really didn't have a solid plan for their games, for this controller. They really didn't have a solid plan. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD was fantastic. I think that was really good, and it showed off why the Wii U gamepad can be very useful for open world games. Although that game is a little bit different just because you're constantly having to check your map to see where to go and to check different things. So that game is a little bit different than some other open world games as far as the frequency of checking your map, so that's what makes the gamepad more useful, but still, it is very useful in that game. But pretty much after that, the gamepad disappeared. And I think that's where I started to grow sour, after 2013. After The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD came out, because I played that, beat it, had fun, great, and then I was waiting, well, where's the next core game? Because Nintendo did say this is for you, the core gamer, at E3 2011 with Reggie Fils-Aimé, and I was waiting for the next game to play to use this controller. And unfortunately, that game literally never came all the way till like Splatoon. And I'm not joking when I say this, guys. After Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD, as far as for core gamers, there was nothing. We had Mario and Sonic, we had Sonic Lost World, we had Super Mario 3D World, we had Wii Fit U, we had Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze in 2014, and that game actually turns the gamepad off, so it's pretty much useless. You just use a Pro Controller for that game. It lasts a lot longer, the controller is more comfortable, longer battery life for you dying all the time in that game. We had a gap in between Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Mario Kart. Once again, Mario Kart better with the Wii U Pro Controller, lasts longer, more comfortable in my opinion. And then we had stuff like Hyrule Warriors, which that game, to me, I'd rather use the Pro Controller for an action game like that. The gamepad was okay, but it's not necessarily needed. Then we have Bayonetta 2. Hell no, the gamepad is horrible for that game. I cannot use the gamepad for it. And I'm not trying to play Tap Tap Revolution on my gamepad with Bayonetta. I like to use the buttons for that game. And then we had like Super Smash Bros. And I'm not using the gamepad for that either. I'm using the GameCube controller. So I'm looking all throughout 2014 and there's nothing. There's great games. Don't get me wrong, the games were fantastic. But they're not using this controller. That Shigeru Miyamoto said himself that this controller, if it was in the PlayStation and Xbox, would cost $100 more. So I'm looking at all the software that's being released, and for me, personally for me, I'm saying, well, wait a minute, the Pro Controller is a better option than this controller. Why did I buy this controller? What's the point of this controller if all of the best games that I really liked are better with a GameCube controller or better with a Pro Controller? Bayonetta, Hyrule Warriors, Smash Bros, Donkey Kong, the list goes on and on. Mario Kart, and it wasn't really till Splatoon to where another game came out where like, okay, yo, this controller is definitely needed. So I'm looking back at the whole Wii U's life and I'm like, wait a minute, I really only got two games that I truly feel that I need the Wii U gamepad for. Only two that I really enjoyed, guys. Like Monster Hunter and other games like that, I just use the Wii U Pro Controller for those games. And I'm like, what's the point of this controller? It wasn't used enough. It was not utilized enough. And Nintendo even said themselves that this controller was not utilized enough. Like I said, for me, two games. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD, I tried to use a Pro Controller, hated it, went back to the gamepad. Splatoon, tried to do dual analog and not use the motion controls, went right back to it. It's like, okay, I think I need the gamepad just because it has motion controls. And Nintendo conveniently left gyro controls out of the Pro Controller. Very conveniently. Despite the PS4 controller having that built in. So to me, it was like, okay, Splatoon, yes. Wind Waker, yes. But what else? Mario Maker was okay. You definitely need that to build the levels. But I'm not really a building type in Mario Maker. I don't like building the levels. I'm not a huge fan of that game just to begin with. But when I was playing it, and I've actually picked it up a little bit more, I just played with the Pro Controller because I don't like building levels. So for me, Mario Maker doesn't really need the gamepad because I just like to play other people's levels. So overall, that's a horrible track record for the gamepad. I mean, stuff like Nintendo Land, I guess that was cool to use the gamepad, but I didn't have anybody to play the game with. My fiance doesn't like playing games. My daughter wasn't old enough to play games then. She was just born in that year that the Wii U launched. And still to this point, she's still not really ready to play games like that. So it's like, this Wii U gamepad just sits here. It just sits here, and when I need to like change, I don't know, the settings on the Wii U or something like that, that's the only time I use it. Because there's only a couple games that I really use it for, and one of those games I don't play anymore, and Splatoon I'll pick up every now and then. So one game, recently. I just don't think that this controller was necessarily needed, and if anything, it should have been sold as a higher count SKU, or it should have just been sold separately. Basing it on what Nintendo has said, how they didn't use enough games that utilize it, and based on the type of games that I like to play, I just don't feel that it was actually worth the price in there. Or they could have just done a simple thing such as $199 without the gamepad, $299 with the gamepad. That could have just been that. So overall, do I hate the gamepad? No, I don't hate the gamepad. I just think it was underutilized, and then when they tried to sit here and make games for it, like Miyamoto's games, like Star Fox Guard, Star Fox Zero, Project Giant Robot that's pretty much dead, it just seemed forced. It just seemed like they're forced and that they had to try to use this gamepad to justify the price. And in the end, I'm looking back at Nintendo's games and I'm like, Nintendo's games are innovative and great without this gamepad. I mean, every single game for the most part can be played without it, and they'd still be fantastic, and they'd still be great, just as high-rated, innovative games. Really, I think they'd still be very good. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, that's one of those games where I thought I was going to be able to use the gamepad a lot, but I just used normal controls for that game, and just used the mini-map and pause the game and look at the map there. It wasn't that big of a deal, because in that game, you don't have to check the map as much with the open sea in Wind Waker HD. So that's the difference between what I feel in those games, why Wind Waker HD, I need the gamepad, whereas Twilight Princess, I don't. So overall, just to kind of sum up everything, no, I don't hate the gamepad, but it was just really underutilized. It's just kind of bulky, it's big, And the battery life is really bad. It kept on dying when I was playing Wind Waker HD and Splatoon. I think it could have been sold as a peripheral or as a deluxe SKU and let the $199 package just sell, and I think the Wii U would have done far better in sales if they didn't force the gamepad on people, because many Nintendo fans just didn't feel like the gamepad was worth the price, and that's the reason why Wii U sales suffered, in my opinion. There's multiple reasons why, but that's also one of the reasons why Wii U sales suffered. 3DS owners were like, what do I need this system for again? What do I need it for? I don't need this gamepad. I got Fire Emblem. I got all these Mario Kart. I've got Smash Brothers. I've got all these RPGs that I can play on my 3DS. So Nintendo 3DS fans didn't even buy a Wii U, which is unfortunate. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the whole matter. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and also subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks, and everything on Nintendo. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.